Hello again, friends. This is Dan once again with another Bible topic. This time, going back to the book of Genesis in the Old Testament, we're going to talk about a word that's become in some circles an endearing Christian salutation, and that word is Mizpah. When people use it, they mean, may the Lord watch over you and me until we meet again. It's really nice, isn't it? Kind of like a happy trails to you till we meet again type of thing. But is that the original context of the word? No, I don't think so. Now, I love the stories of Peter in the New Testament and Jacob in the Old Testament because I can relate to these two dudes. Their human fallacies, and in Jacob's case, his scheming. Now, even though God changed his name from Jacob to Israel, when it's recorded he was in the flesh, he's still referred to as Jacob. And that was quite often. And remember, when we talk about the God of Abraham, Isaac, we don't say Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. We say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, in this story that we're talking about, Jacob fled to his kinsman Laban's land after deceiving his father to gain the rights of the inheritance blessing. Now, granted, it was already prophesied way back in Genesis 25, verse 23, to his mom when she was giving birth, that he would receive this, but Isaac, his father, had resisted giving it because he favored his son Esau, who was Jacob's older brother. Jacob feared retribution from Esau after this event and fled to Laban. Now here's what God had said way back in Genesis 25, verse 23. Two nations are in your womb. Two people shall be separated from your body. One people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. So it was already prophesied that he would receive it, but like I said, Isaac, his father, resisted it. And this led to him fleeing Esau, who he knew was going to take revenge, and he fled to Laban. Well, while there, he saw Rachel, and he thought, wow. So he worked for her father Laban for 7 years to gain her hand in marriage. On the wedding night, though, he found that Laban was just as big a schemer as he was, and he had deceived Jacob by having the older sister Leah marry Jacob instead. She was wearing a veil, and he didn't realize this till later. And Laban, of course, like a good dishonest used car salesman, explained it away that, well, it was a custom to marry the oldest daughter first. So Laban then talked Jacob into working another 7 years to gain the hand of Rachel. And Jacob did it, and the time passed very quickly for him because he was so in love with Rachel. Well, after the marriage, eventually tensions between Jacob and Laban became enough that Jacob and his wives decided to leave without telling Laban, and they were going to head back to Jacob's home. And this happened while Laban was gone shearing his sheep. Well, Jacob and company had a 3-day head start, but Laban, after he heard about it, pursued them. Before he could catch them, Laban was warned in a dream that to watch it when he was dealing with Jacob. He better not try to harm him. Jacob was a schemer, and both he and Laban behaved pretty dishonestly, but Jacob had the blessing of God and was in the line of Abraham, and the promise to Jacob was based on God's faithfulness, not Jacob's or Isaac's, and that's a comfort to us. Our salvation is based on God's faithfulness and on Jesus' sacrifice and his resurrection alone, not based on our faithfulness, or we would have it one day and lose it the next. The Messiah was to come from the line through Jacob, and God was not about to let Laban interfere with this. This is when they set up the stone and said, Mizpah, may the Lord watch between me and you. And I think it was more like, may the Lord watch between me and you dirty rat. You don't come past this rock to me, and I won't come past it to you. There's an interesting side note to their escape involving Rachel stealing Laban's household gods. I'll discuss this in the next video. I've got the links below, and may God richly bless you.